Today's video is brought to you by PCB Way, where not only can you get amazing PCBs made, but you can also get all sorts of custom 3D printed or CNC and so much more. But more about that later. Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Patrick Stacking Layers. Today I'm going to be talking about the all-new BIQU H2 V2X. This is BIQU's new addition to the H2 lineup, and this one has got me super excited. And I'm going to be talking about this and showing a little bit about a setup. But before we get into that, let's talk about what are the H2 extruders. So this is an H2 V1. This is the version 1. Not all this extra stuff that's on it, but the inside part here, the black area, this little guy down here, this is the V1, version 1. And this has been my first H2, and it's still going great. This thing has been an amazing extruder. Got a little NEMA 14 style motor in the back, a gear case, and a hot end. And, you know, it's very straightforward, really easy to set up. This one in particular is on a Hermit Crab 2 tool kit, tool plate. You got my, what is it called, the micro probe from BIQU and standard fan, cooling fan, custom made, yada yada. But as you can see, it's not a very large system with all that stuff. You know, really even this is a little bit extra than a normal setup. But these things are great because you can install them on virtually any machine, anything that, you know, has a standard tool plate. You can just click it right into it. And there's all sorts of different brackets you can make. You got tons of mounting holes and whatnot. So it's been a really great extruder system. And because of that, all of the great experience I've had with this, I have them installed on all of my machines except for my new Voron. And I was going to be installing this guy on there. This is the H2 V2S Light Revo. This is a light, meaning that it's got the lighter aluminum and a skeletal style gear case. And it has got the Revo hot end. And I was getting ready to install this, and then I hesitated. And I hesitated for one main reason. And the main reason is the Stealthburner hot end. I absolutely adore this hot end. I think it's probably one of the coolest, sexiest looking hot ends on the market. There's a lot of great ones out there, don't get me wrong, but I've loved it. I've had some sort of an attraction to this design, and whoever made this, you know, kudos to you. You did a really great job, and all the people that have modified it, like this one is a modified faceplate on it for the Nomi 2. There's lots of great modifications out there. I've seen some full-on skeletal styles where like they've made the air holes all the way down here in different colors. I mean, I'm sure you understand. These things look great, and I didn't want to lose that iconic Voron appearance. And so I kept hesitating. I kept putting this guy off, even though I really wanted this one. And as a matter of fact, I feel without a doubt that this extruder and hot end combo is far superior than this setup here. Of course, there's no part cooling fan, but that's you design and put on your own. There's lots of them already available. But for the most part, I feel this is a superior thing. And that's just because of my own experience. Like I said, I have them on all my other printers. I've never had skipped steps on these things. They are super powerful. They just go and go and go. They run really well, and I've been super happy with them. I can't say that enough. The Clockwork 2, I haven't done any serious upgrades or anything to these. To one, I have the original one on my machine behind me here, and it is running the Clockwork 2. And I totally understand that there are other extruder styles out there, but I have loved this so much that I just kept going, and I got so close to doing it, and then BIQU announced this guy. And what makes this special is that this is an extruder only. This is not a hot end, whereas all the other H2s have been a hot end extruder system, a full-on direct drive total system. And so that's great. Like I said, they work wonderful. But for a Voron, if you want to keep that iconic Stealthburner design, or some other, there's a lot of new cool systems out there that are, you know, a little bit more compact and whatnot, you can now design those to fit around an H2 extruder. So let's open this up. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So first thing you're going to notice, like I said, if you're not used to these or you don't know what these are, you've only seen pictures of them, you're going to notice how tiny they are. Look at this. I mean, it is a really small extruder. It looks a lot larger in the photos. I mean, even this picture here that's a smaller than scale, it's just the way that they photograph it. They try to emphasize the detail, so it looks like a much larger extruder. I think that's probably one of the things that a lot of people misunderstand or don't get in the photos is how tiny these things actually are. And that tininess doesn't take away from its power. And it's a 7-to-1 gear ratio down inside here. Here you can see the gear systems in there. So it starts off out of the motor down on the side, goes into there, transfers from here to there, and then to the dual hobbed gears that push the filament. And so like because of the 7-to-1, that's a lot of torque being applied over on this side. And so these motors don't really need to be that powerful. They spin up really quickly, and that produces a lot of torque on this side. And as a matter of fact, it gives approximately 7.5 kilograms of pushing force out to the extruder here. So this little guy produces quite a bit of power. And like I said, I've never had any skipping issues. This thing has just been, not the specific ones, I haven't installed this one, but in general, the H2 lineup that I have, they just keep going, and they never skip. I've never had any issues with that. And so I've been extremely happy. When I saw this and being able to continue with this, it was a no-brainer for me. So that's what we're going to be putting it together. Couple little extra things about this. The weight on it of this specific extruder is about 145 grams. So like I said, it's very light. It's not just small, but it is light, especially the fact that it's an all metal. There's no plastic gears in here. These are all steel and brass. I think that's brass. Like I said, it's all metal. The only plastic is the connector piece here. But I mean, as you can see, there's no plastic in here. So that's the H2. This is something that's going to be great, in my opinion, for this, because we're going to be building a Stealthburner with an all-new extruder. What I'm going to be installing for the hot end is the new Fadis, or I guess not new, but a Fadis Rapido 2. So this thing is pretty neat, I think. I like it because it's blue. But yeah, so it's this. Let's get this tool stuff out of here. So this is the hot end that's going in there. I do need to remove this to get that installed, but that's another thing that's great about these things, is that to change hot ends, all you do is change out whatever holder system for it, and everything else stays the same. You just put the new hot end right in. So another thing I love about these Stealthburner systems. Now, a couple, I guess, downsides if you're changing out from an older extruder like the Clockwork, for instance, and going to this one. Now, basically, because of the way that it's designed and where it's going to sit, if you're using the SB2209 or a similar CAN bus board, where it's sitting off the side like this and then it attaches to a plate that's right here, which I was, because you can see the fan cable is a little bit lower or smaller, so it would fit right inside there. If you're using one of those, unfortunately, you're going to have to change out to something like this. This is the EBB CAN. So it's a common, very common CAN board used for these hot ends, so it's nothing that's very difficult to install. As a matter of fact, they set up virtually the same way as the SB2209. It's just a different form factor. So the biggest issue with that, besides the fact that it's not inside the hot end, it's going to be on the back part, right? It's going to be sitting on the back like this. The main problem that maybe you have an issue with is you're going to have to make a new cable for it. For me, I don't care. I think that's fine and easy. As a matter of fact, I've already made one. So I have the power and the CAN bus all wound up in here in twisted pairs. And so it's easy peasy. Going to crimp in the cables that go inside here. And you got power and CAN. And then the other side is just a standard with furls, and pretty simple. I like doing wires, so that doesn't bother me. But obviously, if that type of thing bothers you, that can be a little bit of a problem. A bonus, I think, actually, this is going to do is I've noticed with the SB2209s, because I use the standard lid on it, that it's not opened up and there's no fans, they do get pretty hot inside there. They're sitting next to the motor system and they're all closed up, especially when I'm doing ABS. They get pretty hot. I mean, these things are pumping up into the high 80s, which is within range, but a little bit too hot for my comfort. So I was actually going to prepare to put a fan on that, but I think this one's going to do better because it's going to be on the back outside of the board, or the motor. Still close to a motor, but at the same time, they don't really run that hot. You run them at about, with the TMC driver, the max I've ever needed it was at the 0.8, so 800 milliamps on these things, and they run perfect. So I think I have one of them actually running at 650 just because. So they do fine, but 800 milliamps is the recommended thing. So they're 1.5 amp motors, rated motors, so they run fine and cool. So I mean, I think that's actually going to help out having that on the back. Now, of course, the disadvantage is your board is exposed. It's a lot cooler and cleaner when it's inside there. I understand that. But I just wanted to point that out for anybody thinking about swapping over. Something you're going to have to keep in mind that you're going to have the board out there. But that being said, all the parts, BIQU or whoever has designed it has made a whole little kit for this guy already. And it's not only limited. I do want to point out also that this is not limited to the Voron Stealthburner setup. Because of the design, as you can see here where your hot end connects in, the hot end does not have to connect directly to the extruder. You can have, like we will with the Stealthburner, you'll have a small gap, so you'll have a small PTFE tube between the extruder and the hot end, so you don't have any heat creep issues coming up into the extruder. And because of that, that means that you can really design anything you want around it. Even if you want to have this fully exposed and then just have a hot end, bolted up inside here, you can just make a bracket that connects to these 4 screws and then has the hot end on there because, hey, it's a good looking thing, right? So, I mean, why not have it exposed? You can do that also. So it's not limited to Stealthburner. They already do have the EVA 2 or EVA 3, is it EVA 2? For the rat rig system. They already have one made for this that you can download now. So the 2 big things are covered. And then, like I said, they got the CADs out there. You can design however you want around this thing. So if you want to put on an ender, should be a piece of cake. You got mounting holes on all sides, so it's really easy to mount to the existing tool plate. And, design whatever you want around it. Design something just to hold the hot end, and you're good to go. So that's, an easy thing. But again, back to this, we're doing the Voron. So I'm just going to start kind of putting it together just so you can get the gist of what it is. As a matter of fact, what I will do, I'll show you. I have, let's clip over to this here. So this is the CAD for the specific one that we're putting together here. And just wanted to show you really how things fit in there. We just move this faceplate over. And this is the hot end inside here. So, the extruder. That's the H2 right inside there. So you can see the cavity where it goes into. It's nice and compact. It's not any larger than the standard Stealthburner. So as a side profile, I haven't done exact measurements, but from just putting them side by side to the one that I have now, they look to be virtually the same. It sticks out a little bit further in the back, obviously, because of this. But other than that, you're talking about like maybe a centimeter more, maybe. So it's not really that bad. It's going to have the strain relief guy that comes out here. So that's kind of nice little touch, I believe. Or in my opinion, because it's got, it just looks good. It's got that part. And then I'm going to have my my cables come up and go out the exhaust vent area as opposed to going down where the current one is, where it comes down to the side near the to the AB motors and goes down underneath there. But should be a pretty simple installation. Wiring, there's nothing special needed. It wires up exactly the same way as all the other ones, so there's no fuddling around with how to do things. Again, if you have the original SB2209 setup, of course your front fans and stuff plug in inside in here, right? So you would have it down inside this zone. So unfortunately, those wires you're going to have to extend. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the things I have to wait for. I got some wires on the way because I didn't have the right gauge wires. And so unfortunately, I do have to wait for that. I'm not going to do a 100% build. And yeah, so you do have to keep that in mind. You'll have to extend the wires out so they get back here. Other than that, it should be a straightforward swap if you wanted to do it that way. So pretty cool, I believe. So let's get back to this and let's get some stuff put together. So most of everything that it comes with is what you need. The faceplates, as a matter of fact, I have printed out this. It does not have to be the Nomi faceplate. It can be any of the original Stealthburner faceplates. There's nothing different about that. Also, any of the original Stealthburner hot end adapters. Those are all the same. The actual main differences are the top parts, the parts that go around the H2. So they've done a pretty cool little thing here. This is the right side, I guess it is. And this is going to go on here, but what's neat about it is they've designed this little sliding system for engaging and releasing, or I guess, yeah, engaging and releasing the pressure on the gears. So that fits inside there, and when it's screwed together and all put together, it'll actually allow you just to slide that to open and close it. So I'll show you that when I get that together. But all the other parts here are what are custom. So we got a few things, all of them printed except for this one. I did add some extra support on here because it's got a pretty steep thing. And honestly, this is my first ABS setup. So for full-on ABS parts, I've been playing around with it and stuff, but my first ABS set. So I'm still working on getting heating and stuff like that, but I think it turned out pretty good. But I did add supports just to this part and then a little bit underneath here because I just didn't want any overhang, although it wasn't necessary. It didn't really need it. But everything else, it comes with a little piece that's already on there that is designed to come off. It comes with a piece here that's designed to pop off and so on. So in general, these are made to not be printed with support, or to be, supportless printing. And as you can see, everything looks very decent. And none of this was printed with support material whatsoever. So pretty nice. In the spirit of Voron printing, they did really well in designing those parts. In the kit, it does come with wires that you need. Basically, like I said, it's a very simple setup and it's extruder only. So you have your motor wires, you got some PTFE tubing, and a little collets or whatever to hold the PTFE tube in place. And it comes with some screws. You got two different size screws. I already have some opened up that I've collected, so I'm not going to open these bags, but I will show you in a minute what they look like. So let's get that down in there. So we have, where did I put those screws? So these are the screws that they come with. As a matter of fact, I mean, I bought two of them. That's how excited I'm about this. I'm going to try to build another one for a different printer. But anyways, so you get these small screws and then a couple or some more longer screws. So that's what comes with it. And they're already designed to fit this system. So let's start building. So the first thing I'm going to do, I believe, will be to install this guy. This should be pretty straightforward. I believe it's going to go into there. Let me double check. Yeah. So let's go. This is going to go in with, I believe, the longer screws. Yeah. So this one will go in here. Now, a PTFE tube will go into here, down inside this tube, and this other side will go out to your hot end. But this goes this way. Now, of course, you'll have to put in heat sets and things like that, but they're pretty straightforward, very self-explanatory where they should go. So we'll get one side in. Let's get another long one out. There we go. Those snugged in. Simple. Let's get this guy on. So this is one of the things that are going to help to hold on to there. And I think, I'm going to double check it, but I think I'm going to have to put a smaller, M3 or M2.5. I don't know. I'll see if the screw self-taps into there. It should actually. Yeah, it's a fairly snug hold. I think I might try to see if I can get a heat set in there anyways, and then use the smaller screws. I believe that they are 2.5 size screws. It's very typical for those. But anyways, this is the part that one of the sides that this plugs onto. So you can see it'll sit down like that, and that's a little standoff made for that. It also serves as a wire guide so that your wires come up and it protects it from going into the to the gear zone. So let's just put this on first. So we'll get that there. We'll get this other little screw there. And so these go in here. So there you go. So as you can see, it's got this little lip area here. So your wires will come up and then go out to the board. And so it's got this little protector thing so your wires don't go up inside to that zone there. That's handy. Let's get a little slightly more torque. Now, of course, keep in mind if you're building these things, these are aluminum. So don't go wrenching them down so tight. It's probably recommended to use a little bit of Loctite on there once you get everything fit right and you know they're going to work. Put a little tiny dab of Loctite if you're worried about vibration getting them out. But you don't want to be stripping your aluminum. It is, it's stronger type of aluminum, but it's still aluminum. So the next thing, let's see, we will put this one. So this is the cable strain guide, or the strain relief thing. So where did I throw that? This little guy is going to screw down inside here. Just like that, right? And then your cables will come out through there. And then you have your motor cable that goes into there. I do want to point out something. I have redesigned this, and I think I will actually put the model, the STL, in. I'll put a link to it on here because when the original one on here, I did send them a message, so they may fix it. But the original thread pattern on here is, I believe, an M12 thread, and these are the PG7 system. So the PG class of threading is a little bit different. It's not a standard. I mean, it's metric, but it's not a standard M12 system. It's actually a 12.5 millimeter overall width. So the original one did not fit. So I do want to point that part out. I think I threw away the other one. So what happened was, it seemed like it was fitting, and I got it about a quarter of a way in, and then it snapped open because it actually is a 0.5 millimeter wider. This is a 0.5 millimeter wider than the original thing. So what I did is I went into CAD and into Fusion 360, and I modified all the threads on there to be a little bit wider to fit, and it does. But now there's, as you can see here, there's a tiny little bit of under whatever. It's just not thick enough. The walls are too thin there. So I haven't gone and modified that. But that being said, now that I screw this in there, once I get it bottomed out and give it a little bit of snug, I mean, it's in there. It's not coming out. So it's just for strain relief. It's not like it's any type of part that's going to be holding your machine together. So it's not that, important to have it perfectly super tight, just as long as it's not moving around. But I did want to point that out. So if you go to print these things out, like I said, I'll put a link somewhere to get the one that I made, this one here that I modified, and unless BIQU has gone and modified the one they have. But anyways, keep that in mind. So we get this part on here, and this is also going to serve this other part here for the other side. So now you got both of the mounting holes set for that. So they did a pretty good job, I think, when it comes to the parts on this, because in general, you don't want to have a ton of extra stuff added, right? Because it's just going to, bulk things up and make it heavier again. And you don't really want to do that. Oops, let's get this so I don't cross thread. And so they did fairly good, I think, when it comes to the designs, because they're thin. There's not a whole lot of extra plastic compared to the original clockwork system, for instance. So there's those pieces. So we got 3 done. That's the inner zone, basically. These pieces are separate, right? So the hot end goes inside there, and that's down below. And then this piece is going to be on top, right? So it's two different types of setups that are going, and then they get all set up and pushed onto the to the mount bracket for the motion. So that is that. Did I get that one installed backwards? No, I think that's right. Yeah. So now we can get this side on. So we have a heat set on both sides here. So those go onto the bottom holes there. And then we have the top ones that go up onto the top holes here. So that's just to cover it up, make it look good. So we'll get that. Again, they're using the smaller ones on this side. I think actually the smaller ones on there too. Yeah. Still all the smaller ones are being used for these things here. So we'll just get that lined up. That goes there. And the other one should find its way in. There we go. Everything so far is really nicely lined up. So there's one half done. And then this is the final piece for the motor cover, the motor body, I guess. So this one I'm going to disengage and then slide this down to get that on there like that and to get everything lined up. And then, yeah, the holes line up really nice. So let's see, we get this other little one in there, and then one more on this outside hole. That goes there, and that one's inside there. So that's snugged, and that's snugged. And that's it, and that's that action. Nice and smooth. As you can see inside, it's pulling that, so you got a nice little lever that keeps everything hidden away, covers up everything. You still can go down inside there because down inside here is the adjusting screw, so you can adjust the tension. Is the camera going to pick that up? There's a little black screw inside there, so you can adjust the tension on those two gears that are inside on your filament, so you can release or increase the tension. And then of course you have down there the PTFE tube that goes for inside, so your reverse Bowden will go down inside there, and then the other one comes out here, goes down to the hot end. So that's that. Like I said, I do need to get some more wires, so unfortunately I don't have everything available at the moment, but let's just put this part all inside there so we just kind of match it up. Oops. So we got that. This part goes there, and that part is there, and that is the completed hot end, more or less. The hot extruder. No, sorry, I didn't put the hot end in there yet, but that's the extruder. So as you can see, it's not that much larger than the standard Stealthburner extruder. I need to put it side by side. I mean, it seems virtually the same size. How about I go and relocate the camera here so I can give a side-by-side comparison in size, so you can really see the fact that these things are virtually the same size. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to move the camera, but go ahead and check out this video sponsor, PCBWay. They got lots of great stuff, so we'll be right back.
If you're someone who loves tinkering, designing, and creating, you'll definitely want to check out PCBWay. PCBWay isn't just about PCB manufacturing. They've got a wide range of services to cater to creators just like you. From crafting intricate prototypes using many forms of 3D printing to precision machine parts through CNC machining and so much more, PCBWay has got you covered. A really nice part is their online quoting system. It lets you see the cost estimates for the services you need, allowing you to plan your projects without any surprises. As for quality, PCBWay takes it seriously across all their services and do their best to ensure all your designs will meet the highest standards. Beyond services, PCBWay offers a supportive community. Their forums and dedicated support team are there to help you to navigate through your creative journey. If you're intrigued and want to know more about PCBWay services and how it can benefit your projects, check out the link in the description. I want to give a big thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to the video.
Okay, so here is my original. This is the standard Stealthburner setup with the clockwork extruder system in there. So as you can see, standard, nothing's fancy about that. With the CAN bus, it's got the EBB in there. And then this is the one with the H2. So let's see, sorry about getting all super close like this. So yeah, the face plates are virtually lined up. And then as you can see over the top, size-wise, it's the same thing. So you're not losing out on anything. And it's still going to mount. I have the cartographer CNC mount down there that this is all on. So that will still fit exactly the same way onto there. There's nothing extra hanging out the bottom. So as you can see, it mounts in there, and then this is going to go same area. So it's a super simple swap, honestly. So that's that. Let's get back over to the desk. All right, so that's the extruder installed. I mean, really, that's all that's special or different. Of course, you're gonna have to be installing these type of things. So let's go ahead. I suppose let's just get this faceplate back off. I can do what I can. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't have all the wires, so I can't do a 100% install, but I will definitely do a follow-up video with how I feel this thing's performing. And, you know, with as much as I love them, I'm assuming it's going to be great, but I will let you know if there's anything that I feel is a complete downside. Like I said, so far, things that I can see is going to be the fact that you're going to be redoing wiring if you already have the Stealthburner 2209. And is a good example about why. Let's see if I can get some different light down here. So obviously you see down here, I mean, you can move this one because if you're not going to use that, instead you're trying to get the SB down there, the 2209, it might, but I don't think, honestly, because with the way that it attaches, maybe you can, you know, people can modify and figure out a different way to do it. But the problem is that the way it attaches all this stuff. So, I mean, I guess technically you can leave this side open and make a mount, but then you have that gear that's in the way too. So I don't know. I mean, maybe you can do it, and then instead of having the what is it called, the little pieces that connect to the smaller board, the SB0000 board, instead of using those pins, then you can use just wires and have them done. So it's like a flex cable or something like that. Maybe that'll make it work. Maybe there'll be a future iteration from Bigtreetech for that. That'd be nice to see. But as it stands right now, unfortunately, you do need to go to this board. It's not a huge problem, but for people that don't like to do wiring and stuff, it can be bothersome. So that's probably my biggest thing I can say as a gripe, if it is one. I don't feel that's an issue for myself personally because I like messing with wires. It's what I do for a living. So no big deal. But yeah, I just do want to point that out. Let's see. I guess I can leave this light here. That's not too overblown, is it? Maybe I should have started that way. Anyways, let's see. We can get a little fan in there. So for these, no, I left the fan out because I haven't done the LEDs yet either. I'm waiting, like I said, wires. I already have the little jig ready for my LEDs to be printed out or soldered up. But same thing with wiring when it comes down to these things. There's nothing really special about it. Let's see, this goes this direction. And so that's going to go inside like that. And then the wires will come up inside here. Very straightforward. So those will go there, and then they'll come through this area here. And then, of course, to the board. I'll see if I can get that board installed, just so we can get an idea of how that's going to fit on. So we got these tiny little screws here. Let's see if they fit well inside without any heat inserts. They feel like they're M3 style, actually. I don't know. It's got a decent... No, it's still just spinning. So they're going to need heat inserts of some sort in there. They look like they're the right size for heat inserts. I just didn't try it. Where'd the other screw go? These things do come with everything that you need, or are supposed to at least. There's the other one. And blend it in with all the little connectors. Don't lose the jumper cable, or jumper. All right, so that one's gonna go there. This one's gonna go inside here. Are you gonna fit? That one's a little bit tighter. So maybe you can modify the file and make it to where the hole's tighter, so if you don't want to use heat inserts, but I'm definitely gonna have to put heat inserts on those. No big deal, I have them. But I didn't think about that part. But there's how the board's gonna sit. And actually that's kind of firmly on there, but I already know because I can keep turning this one, it's not going to, maybe a longer screw would help. So it gets all the way down inside here. So this will go down and under and sit flush there. And then I think it's this plug, one of these plugs. The fan will go there. Of course, clipped up nicely and stuff. We'll have all the wires nice and neat and secured. The motor cable, where did I throw that cable? Let's see how long that is. Typically they give quite a long cable on these things, so that might need to be cut for this one. It does look like it's a standard, yeah. So it's got a the standard 6-pin plug. I think they're some sort of a JST or a no, like a microfit. Yeah, it looks like maybe a Molex microfit type plug. So yeah, so you got like a meter. Is it a meter? Whoops. About 1.5. It's about 1.5 meters long of a cable. So this will obviously need to be modified. But like I said, this is an extruder made for virtually any machine. So your imagination is the limit on that because of the fact that you can make a hot end for anything. So this is designed to fit all the way around. So that would go down inside there, of course, obviously before you get that on there. And then that will go down there. And then however you want to route it. So I'll have to figure it out because that's going to go up to here. Yeah, it's going to go up to here. Of course, without the DuPont style clipping or connection, it's going to have the standard JST style plug to go there. So that will plug into that. Like I said, this is not a complete install guide. This is more or less just the kind of overall experience and then just a quickish, you know how I like to do it. If you watch my channel, you know I like to go into little details and show you everything and really give you an education on that. So we're going to get LEDs down inside there after that's done with when I get the wires and get those soldered up. So LEDs, nothing different about that. Same thing with the LED that goes inside here. Pretty straightforward. The Nomi power, that is something I need to figure out because this one, unlike the the SB2209. The SB2209 has an extra power port, so that one I'm going to have to look at the pins again and see which, oops, I bent that pin there, see which one has, it's something I'm not going to use. I think maybe, oh, that's going to be a tough one. I'm going to figure out one, but I'm sure there's one I can repurpose. I'm not going to use all of the pins. I think this has an induction probe capability, and I'm not going to be using that, so I can use one of those. And I have 2 fans plus end stop I'm going to use. Then we got BL Touch, but I do also have cartographer that I need power for, so that's going to be 5 volts, CAN bus. These are the CAN bus, extra CAN bus cables that can get plugged onto these guys. Yeah. So I'll figure that one out. As a matter of fact, I guess we can pull up. No, we're not going to go into details on that. But I will show you. If you guys have an interest and you want to see exactly how these things are plugged in, when I do my review of it actually in action, I will, again, I'll take pictures of the board or just pull it off and talk about the board. But it is straightforward. So those things you need to keep in mind. That type of problem solving, you're going to have to figure out where you're going to put your existing wires. You know, you have 2 fans on these, obviously. You have your part cooling fan and your hot end cooling fan. So those are vital. You can't sacrifice those. And then you have your other things that you have. So if you have like a BL Touch or something like that, some kind of probe like that, that's these guys here. So that you're set, ready for that. So you got that. You have 2 fans. You have your hot end thermistor. And let's see. Yeah, the thermistor is going to go here because it's got the PT100. I think these guys, there's the I2C connector that I'm not going to be using. I think there's a 5 volt and ground on that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. So that's what I'll use for my Nomi. Let's see about the hot end. Let's see if I can get that kind of installed. Now this one I haven't done at all. This is my first time experiencing with one of these hot ends here, so hopefully this goes smoothly. I guess this is kind of an unboxing for that too. Double unboxing video bonus. So we got a connector. Yep, so we got a connector with some furls on it. How well are these furls set up? Yeah, they're not to my liking. I don't see any wires down there. I would have to, I think I'll re-crimp those. Typical. I'm very picky. I'm sure they're good enough, honestly, but I'm very picky when it comes to electrical connections, especially things that are going to be providing power for heat. So this one is going to be, let's see what the connectors are here. So those are identical. One bigger than the other? No. So one of them is for power, one of them is for heat. So I'll have to check out the gauge. I would assume that this is for the thermistor and this is for the heater. They're a little bit thicker wires. But yeah, everything is already pre-set up in the hot end here, as you can see, except for the nozzle. I get to choose which nozzle. But with the Voron Stealthburner kit, this part has to come off. So hopefully, yeah, they did provide a little Allen wrench. Is that the right one? Yep. So let's not break anything on camera or off camera. Get it snugged in there. Ooh, that's a tight fit. There we go. Maybe got some Loctite in there. Hopefully that wasn't a screw just breaking in there. Yeah, so there we go. Must be Loctite in there. That's a very tight torque if it's not. There's that. Doing inspection. Okay, good. Yeah, there was Loctite on there. Get this one. That's good to know that they've got it all set up ready for you if you don't need to remove this. So with the Voron things, if you didn't know that, these little extra parts, these are for clipping into a standard hot end, but the Vorons, the Stealthburner, are designed to specially fit inside of these guys. So this one is going to go that direction, I suppose. There is a very special way that this one's supposed to sit in there. And I know that probably, knowing my luck, I got one that is the backwards way, because there are, if you see the way that these holes are slightly off-centered, so there's a certain way that it needs to go in there so it actually lines up, and I think it's supposed to line up with the wires there, which means that my holes aren't lined up. It needs to be taken apart, of course, and turned 180 degrees. So if the holes line up properly. Well, that's fun. I might have to do a dry fit first just to make sure, but basically what's going to have to happen, I think, is that I'm going to have to remove these 3 screws to get this whole piece twisted a certain direction. Bummer. I was hoping that it didn't have that, but I know they said that, from what I've read, that is actually one of the things you have to keep in mind and watch out for, because of the fact that if you don't, as you can see, it needs to sit like that with the holes, right? So they see how they line up. But because of that, it's not going to fit in there. It needs to be twisted. So I'm going to have to modify this also. I'm going to not do that on camera because I need to make sure I get that done right, because I have seen that if you do these 3 screws wrong, you can really mess things up and you'll get a lot of leakage out the top part, and that I don't want. So I'm going to take my time with this one, and I'm not going to put you guys through the boring experience of getting that set up in there, but this is a cool little hot end. So you got your heater down inside here. A little odd, now that I look at it though, is that the thermistor is on top right next to the heater, whereas the nozzle is going to be down here, so it's kind of far away from the heat zone. That's interesting. I don't know, I've seen a lot of great reviews about it, so I'm assuming it's good. Let me know if you guys have used this specific one, if you are using it on any other machine, or if you have a standard Stealthburner setup and you're using this. I'm curious what you guys think about that. Of course, I will let you guys know when I get it going how I feel about it, but I wonder how that works. I mean, obviously they've tested it, right? I hope so. This is a version 2. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, I'm sure it's okay. Let's just get back there. But anyways, I think you guys get the gist of it. That's going to go in there in a way, and then where did I throw the other piece? Am I already losing parts? Yeah, it's here behind me. And then, so yeah, that is going to go on to there. And the cables are supposed to come up this direction. So it is that channel that I need to figure out, because obviously it's not going to be with a screw in the middle, is it? But yeah, so I need to figure out that orientation there, and then this will go on to there. And then those go up through here, through there, and out. Am I holding that backwards? I'm holding that backwards. Up through here, and out. Yeah, so anyways, I think you get the idea, right? I mean, like I said, this wasn't gonna be a full-on installation video because I just don't have all the wires that I need to do everything. I really need to stop bending that pin. Stop setting it down like that. Anyways, yeah, so really, like you saw, it is a very straightforward, really easy install. The STL on this, I think, was pretty nice, with the exception of having to redesign that. I will put a file somewhere so you can link to it. Probably I'll just put it onto a on Thingiverse or something like that, so you guys can download it if you want to use it. Again, I'll check out if BIQU or whatever has already updated it, then I'll just put a link to that instead. But anyways, you'll get that. So keep that in mind for this part here. Does need to be modified. So it screws on unless you have a different style that fits. It's a 12mm, I think it was the original one. This is 12.5. So that's that. But yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, like I said, I'm excited about this. Obviously, you can tell. I think it's going to be a really nice addition. Hopefully, everything lines up as it looks like it should. And it just prints just like all the other ones that I have. If it does, I'm going to be super happy because these things just go and go and go. And lots of pressure out of them. Like I said, never had skipping issues. I'm super happy. Anyways, enough of that. So what do you guys think? Is this something that you would want to buy? I will put an affiliate link down below if you guys are interested in it. It always helps if you guys use those. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps my channel. But, you know, if you don't have to, no big deal. I just appreciate that you guys are here. I want to give a huge thank you again to PCBWay for sponsoring my channel. It's a massive help also. I wouldn't be able to do a lot of these things without them, but even more, I wouldn't be able to keep making these videos like I do without all of my subscribers. And I see more and more of you coming in, and that's what continues to, you know, boost me to make more videos, to get more content out there, and keep as regular as I can. And it really is just a humbling thing. Again, with all the new subscribers, I've probably mentioned this now a couple times in my videos, and I truly am grateful for all of you coming in. Thank you. I appreciate it. It really tells me that my videos are helpful. So let me know down in the comments what other things you guys want to see. I want to branch out. What other products are you interested in seeing, or what other types of things you guys need help with? I haven't forgotten about my idea to expand more on Clipper setup for the configuration stuff. I am working on more of that in the background to give you some more information on those, so that there's more stuff coming up. So keep a lookout. I guess hit that bell button or whatever it is that helps you to keep in touch with me or whatever. But yeah, the subscriptions and you guys just being here alone is already enough for me, and that makes me very happy to see. So just keep that up. And yeah, again, comments, questions, anything you need down in the comments, let me know, and I will be more than happy to help. If I don't get to people, I mean, honestly, I try to read everything as possible, but if I'm not getting to something or I've missed something, anybody else, if you want to jump in to try to help, the more the merry. That really helps out. And that's really what I want to engage also in with, or to encourage on my channel, is to help the community. That is what my main goal with these videos are, is to help the community make decisions on maybe new products, or figure out how to work things and how to connect stuff, and really get a good general idea of how these things work. Because, I mean, if you've never done anything electronics, you look at this alone, you think, wow, I can't do that. I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. So that's what these videos are all about, and hopefully that is what is being portrayed here. So anyways, enough. Thank you again. Thank you for coming, and until next time, get out there and go make something. Thank you for watching.